Welcome to Blended Philosophy. The topic for this episode is labour, and the question is, should women be allowed to work?
Do you mean like, so to be employed?
So I'll just go through my definition just for a moment, and then if you guys are satisfied with it, we can just move on. So, for the time being, work is physical effort on purpose towards a goal in exchange for intrinsic reward.
That's a bad definition.
Okay.
Because what about
I don't need a
think?
because. We can
Think for work. Or does that not work?
give me an example of thinking.
Making a spreadsheet.
Maybe effort is a bit heavy-handed there, but like, you're moving a mouse, so I'll count for that.
All mental work is actual physical work. Because your brain's firing heaps of neurons, and like your brain can use a quarter or more of your body's energy. Like if you do like a high thinking task, like I remember when I'd like study hard or something, and you're eating just as much as if I was like like hiking, and you can even feel yourself like getting hot if you think about something too much. So like, people split it between physical and mental often, but like technically it sort of is, like your body is doing stuff.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just can't see it. But it can be just as tiring. If you do like when I'd walk out.
But you didn't need to use the mouse.
What?
Like to make the spreadsheet. You could have used your eyes, or you could have like that quadriplegic person that got the Neuralink.
Okay,
Right? So they're just thinking.
so I wouldn't count that as work. For two reasons. One, it doesn't fall into this.
Quadriplegics can't work.
So what I said might be true. It doesn't. For one, it doesn't fall into this. It's not really physical. But for two, if we're thinking of a new definition here, I could go, well, that's is being aided with technology. So I wouldn't really count that. Like if someone's like, oh, I climbed Mount Everest, and I don't have any legs, and it's like, well, I've got these like spring prosthetics that help me.
Right.
I'm like, that doesn't count.
The difference
Doesn't
is
count.
You got to give them something.
it's 90% of mental effort, 10% physical effort, right? So you're actually getting paid for the mental effort, not the physical effort. While you are also, yes, maybe you're also getting paid for the physical effort of moving the mouse. You're more so getting paid for the mental effort.
That is true. Like with any physical task, it's like, you rock up to work. If you just do like a bunch of push-ups, and then be like, wow, that was exhausting. Like they're not going to pay you. So it's not actually your effort. Your effort they don't pay you for, your physical effort.
Exactly.
They pay you to, so even if all you're doing is moving boxes from one side of the room to the other, like the fact that you're deciding to do that. Yeah, without that mental component, that effort is just worthless. They don't want it.
Yeah. So you're not getting paid for your effort. You're getting paid for your outcome.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, lots of.
Not exactly.
You're not getting paid for your effort.
Yes, but you can fail to achieve the outcome and still get paid.
Yes.
Really,
Most.
you just get paid for being there for the hour. That's it. And you just got to tick enough boxes that they count it.
Work is effort on purpose towards a goal in exchange for extrinsic reward.
I think it should be monetary or equivalent.
Okay.
Because extrinsic reward is a bit, someone praising you could be an extrinsic reward.
No, I understand how you came to that conclusion, but that's actually an intrinsic reward. Because what they are doing is outside of your body, but the output or the result of that is making you feel good inside. So it might seem like an extrinsic reward, but it's actually an intrinsic reward.
So many physical things. You can go, oh, well, it's just your reaction to that physical thing. Like, oh,
Yep.
you're going to have a holiday. It's your perception of the holiday. Right? So then you could just say that's intrinsic. Whereas intrinsic motivation is meant to be when the reward kind of comes from within yourself, not based on something external, which in the case of someone praising you, that's an external thing.
I would argue that in that case, that's just an internal source of an intrinsic reward. Whereas if someone praises you, it's still an intrinsic reward, but the source of that praise is...
Have you heard the phrase external validation? Oh, I'm on TikTok. Whoa, look how cool I am. I'm being externally validated. You're seeking external validation. Why isn't it internal validation? Because they put the video up, everyone's like, that, you're so cool. And they're like, oh, I'm so cool. I'm in.
Yes, that proves my point. Because you're saying the external validation, so the intrinsic reward that the TikToker is getting comes from an external source. Correct. Let's move on.
Can you give me an example of an extrinsic one that's not, so something that's not in an intrinsic reward?
An extrinsic reward, for example, would be if you were to give your sheepdog a treat. You're training your sheepdog to herd sheep, let's say. Or say you just wanted to get to know you a bit better and respect your authority. And so you're teaching it to sit. So you say sit, and it sits, and then you give them a, whatever it's called, a biscuit or a Scooby snack. That's an extrinsic reward. That sounds like a fake word now. But
Extrinsic.
yeah, it's an extrinsic reward.
The dog, right, might hate one type of treat and like another.
Mm-hmm.
So what, is that not internal?
The reason that it's an extrinsic reward
Yeah.
is because the reward is physical outside of the dog.
If they cook pies for a bakery, that's a no. But what if they cook pies for their family at home?
I guess that the pies are technically an extrinsic reward, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
They're not allowed to do anything. I think they should be able to work.
Women can work without being paid.
Based.
So that would get rid of the extrinsic reward, and then we're fine.
I still think they should be able to be paid. Because that's sort of, what if they had no other means to look after themselves?
That sounds pretty pessimistic. Can you give me an example?
A widow?
Unless they're an orphan, they're not fucked.
Right, they move
Like
back,
it's not the
they
ideal.
move back in with their parents. Alright.
Or they're like siblings, or like you know what I mean? Like,
Okay, yeah.
or even if they are an orphan, they just update their Facebook status to widowed, and then someone's like, "Oh, I know, yeah, no worries. Just stay in my spare room. Just stay in my spare room until you get back on your feet. But until you get married, my cousin's actually single, so don't worry about it.
There we go. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
If they go and work but don't get paid, Is that not exploitation?
No.
If they agree to it, which is what volunteering is now, because unless they're actually forced to do it, then they're choosing to do it.
I mean, there'll be less competition in the workforce.
You might have to just give women a lot of free shit. You know, just make lots of stuff for women free.
Like tampons and...
Yeah, even plane tickets. Like, not all of them. But be like, you know, if there's a 200-seat plane, you'd be like, right, 50 of these seats are free, they're for women. And you just line up, first in, first serves. That's it. You get there a few days early. And then,
That might actually be plausible, because I feel like, or I hear stories of people being upgraded to first class because there's no one sitting in there.
yeah.
And it's like, if most planes are only occupied like 80%, then you could say, maybe not 20% for women, but you can say, 10% for women.
But I wonder how that would work at supermarkets as well, because like practically there's going to be a gap in between living in someone's place and being married and then being married again. And if you can't find someone a place, you still need food and you might have kids. So grocery stores will have to give out a bunch of free food as well to women. So as long as everything in society just gives out a bunch of free shit to women, then I think this could work.
Not necessarily, you know, it doesn't have to have like an AI in it.
Right, yeah.
Sorting itself out. Yeah, it's just,
I get
yeah,
it.
it's, you know.
Like how we've automated the horse.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you still got to drive the car, but you know, like it's, that's literally
I think I
automated.
can vote.
Should women be allowed to work?
That's very much it.
I love the ratio.
Yeah.
According to Pizza String, women should be allowed to work. Join us next time for whatever click on the end screen things. You need it's an extra 20 seconds to stick around, click on a thing. You can open a new tab or don't bother. Read the description, leave a comment, hit the like button.